work in sponsoring and coordinating this event. And I also want to thank Phil Myers, the owner of this establishment, for his generosity and support. Yes. And of course, Gigi Davis Elliott, who's back there, and Asia Davis, who's back there somewhere, but I'll introduce them shortly. And Alfred Chioda, who everyone knows and loves, and I love dearly. We started on this journey together almost 6 years ago, raising critical questions and concerns about a proposed project that would tear at the fabric of this community. Concurrently, there was and there still is a growing sense in our community that our community is under siege, under attack from high-end developers and private equity groups displacing low and moderate income families to make way for the uber-rich. At the same time, a fierce debate was raging that continues to this day about property rights, abuse of eminent domain, and the role of government. There were countless political discussions, forums, and polite and sometimes impolite dinner party discussions about the lack of community planning, transparency, oversight, accountability, and the true meaning of affordable housing. There were charges of NIMBYism, charges of racism, and we charged, all in this room, ignorance, countering that we understood the need to grow the economy, recognizing the great needs of our community, and the hunger for and the correlation to generating tax revenues. We understood that. And that is why we all came together and proposed a smart alternative known as the Unity Plan. And we also urged the Bloomberg administration to embrace community planning, and we all cried out for affordable housing to be developed by locally based and proven organizations with a track record of success. Years have come and gone. We suffered some defeats, but they suffered more. Much has changed, but much remains the same. But one thing remains constant. We are still together. They wrote a textbook, classroom textbook about our struggle, circulated all in classrooms all throughout the city of New York. See who's on the front cover? Pass it around. It's very tall. A play about our story was performed. Remember that? A famous and powerful blog, I thought he would be here this evening, was born. And a documentary was filmed, Brooklyn Matters. Have you seen it? And a hip-hop song on YouTube was recorded in honor of my criticism, and it's a great hip-hop song. I urge all of you to go on and hear the hip-hop song. More blogs were created, countless classroom studies and interviews from college students all throughout the city. There were prayers during Lent, Holy Week, and Easter, and there was a blessing most recently at a Seder during Passover, which someone gave me a copy. Faces have changed. Some politicians have changed their position. Forest City Ratner changed. Bruce Ratner got married. The project changed, I think. Frank Gary's position definitely changed. We witnessed some marriages, some divorces, and some babies, and yes, in that order. But yet, we always kept our eyes on a footprint technically called Vanderbilt yards but we have known it to be, unfortunately, people refer to it as the proposed Atlantic Yards footprint, which lies fallow and undeveloped to this day because of all of you in this room. We're growing, we're gathering, our numbers have increased in strength. And so, ladies and gentlemen and friends, it's fitting that I announce my re-election here today. That we begin this campaign with you as we began 6 years ago with all of you in this room. Because the struggle is not over. The battle has not been won. The fight for the soul of Brooklyn continues. Brooklyn's uniqueness that cannot be defined, described, or destroyed. Now, I realize that the next 4 years, as has been the past 4 years, is not limited solely to the controversy surrounding this development. We have been working on a myriad of issues in this district, and they include and are not limited to improving educational outcomes, and we have achieved some results, eliminating the achievement gap and demanding excellence in education, working with the Department of Ed, advocates, and parents in school districts 13 and 17, preserving, supporting, and actually building affordable housing in our district. Yes, we have had some results there as well. Working with Pratt Area Community Council, Fifth Avenue Committee, Brooklyn Community Housing Services, and others. Protecting brownstone Brooklyn by landmarking most of Fort Greene and Clinton Hill and downzoning those neighborhoods.
Prospect Heights.
And Prospect Heights is on the table,
North.
and Crown Heights we are working on. So by the time I leave this place, all of the district, Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Prospect Heights, and Crown Heights, all of it will be landmarked. And/or rezoned. We are creating a green industry, creating jobs that can sustain families, retraining displaced, unemployed, and underemployed individuals. Yes, we have had some results there. We've talked about industries of growth in Brooklyn, that we need to grow more as opposed to relying upon Wall Street, which has failed us. The healthcare industry, biotech, small business, and green initiatives. We have talked about the financing of healthcare industries and hospitals and working with our federal counterparts for a greater share of subsidies from Washington to support hospitals and community-based clinics and healthcare facilities and community-based organizations. We have talked about the disparities, the healthcare disparities in central Brooklyn, primarily the AIDS crisis, which is a pandemic in central Brooklyn. We have been standing as a strong voice for the most vulnerable in an effort to protect our safety net, particularly our seniors. We've had some results there. We fought the Bloomberg administration that wanted to change and reorganize senior centers, but we won that fight. And so Fort Greene Senior Center remains open. At the same time, we've been meeting with commissioners to always keep Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Prospect Heights, and Crown Heights in the foremost of their minds, demanding our fair share of public services, police, fire, library, food options, traffic calming, streetscape improvements, and yes, bike lanes, which is always a consensus. Never ever forgetting the needs of the residents of public housing who are the least, the lost, and the forgotten. Advocating and drafting legislation for small business and women-owned business and minority businesses, continuing to invest in our parks, our playgrounds and open spaces, continuing to engage in community planning around attracting new businesses to our major corridors, working with local bids and merchant organizations, supporting cultural organizations and arts groups that bring creativity and vitality to this cultural hub, that reflect the depth and breadth and the diversity of emerging organizations. Organizations such as Makata, Creative Outlet, Irondale, BAM, and the Central Brooklyn Jazz Consortium. Tearing down and challenging walls and physical space that separate us, that are in fact artificial, and bringing us together, bridging the divide, and negotiating clashes, and blending us together in this wonderful, this absolutely crazy and splendid place we all call home. I promise to all of you today that we're going to continue the work, continue to show you the results. I have never been a cautious politician. Some people do not like me because I am not a cautious politician. You may not like my position, but at least you know where I stand. And some have described me as a courageous politician, but that was never my plan. All I wanted was to be heard. Simple fairness for this district. And over the years, my voice has grown louder and louder, clearer and stronger. Be it against a despotic mayor who seeks a third term, a racist cartoon that promotes violence against our president, denouncing a masterful attempt at a land grab, the dumping of a homeless shelter in Crown Heights and Bedford-Stuyvesant, the expansion of a prison in downtown Brooklyn, or the closing of subsidized daycare centers, and the denial of choice for low-income families. My voice grows strong. And I have stood with public employees who are losing their jobs, and I have criticized this administration and its plans to outsource and privatize public jobs. We have fought against all odds, but fighting because we must, because it matters, because Brooklyn matters, because this district matters. And as most of you know, I am no stranger to struggle or conflict, and have never shied away from a good fight. As we embark upon this campaign, I am prepared to debate the issues. I am prepared to put my results against anyone else who seeks to run for this office, and I believe in democracy. At this point in time, we're going to take it to the streets, as we used to say. And I say, let the race begin. And I thank all of you for coming. I thank all of you for support. Let the fun times begin.